Hare Krishna. Thank you all the devotees for kindly joining today's session. Let's begin. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Vedanta Swamin Nityanamini Namaste Saraswate Deve Gaurvani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Okay, I'll play this lecture now.
It's amazing. And it's universal. They cannot understand. Yogamaya samavrata. Naham prakasha sarvasya. Yogamaya samavrata. Mudhoyam nabijanati. Krishna covers the consciousness of those who are duskriti. The duskritis refuse, the characteristic of duskriti is they refuse to surrender to Krishna. Na mam duskritana. Now one of the categories is mudha prapadyante. Na mam duskritana prapadyante. Na mam prapadyante. They don't surrender unto me. That's the banner. The name of the person that carries such a banner is a duskriti, and there are 4 divisions of the army. Those who are just plain foolish. Mudha. Namam duskritana mudha prapadyante. So they wish, because I want to stay with the context of the purport here. Prabhupada is identifying, I'll read the verse, Prabhupada is identifying 2 categories of persons that don't get it because they choose to not get it. Here is the message of the scripture. And their reply is, I choose to not get it. One way is I don't accept the authority, and the other is it means something else. I choose to not get it is the honest message. You ever had a conversation with somebody where you're trying to explain something and they just don't get it? It's so simple, and they just don't get it because they choose to not get it. Because there's a predisposition, something else. And they're stuck on that something else, and no matter what you say, they don't get it because they choose to not get it. The message of Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam is transparently clear. When one takes the assistance of the representative of Krishna, then the curtain of Yogamaya is drawn back. But when one refuses to take the assistance of the representatives of Krishna, the curtain is drawn, closed, and one cannot see. So, these 3 different categories, akama, sarvakama, mokshakama, the recommendation is tivrena bhakti yogena. And that is the answer to his question, Maharaj Parikshit's question. What is recommended for all living beings, and particularly for those that are about to die? Tivra bhakti. Then he says, all the different kinds of worshippers, of multi-demigods, cannot attain the highest perfectional benediction, which is spontaneous attraction, unflinchingly fixed upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead, only by the association of the pure devotee of the Lord. So, Prabhupada is just editor's license. He's added in the worship of multi-demigods because that was the topic that was discussed just previously. And that worship of multi-demigods is a subset of those that choose to repose worship propensity not upon the Supreme. The recommendation is repose worship propensity upon the Supreme. It's like in the 12th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Arjuna asks a very poignant question. He asks Krishna, paraphrasing, what if somebody does not have faith in your words? Do they not have faith in something? The essence of the question is not faith intrinsic to the soul? And the answer is yes. Faith is intrinsic to the soul, and if one does not have faith in the Supreme, one will have faith in something else, because faith is intrinsic to the soul. And what are those divisions of faith? Modes of nature and the combination. Those have faith in getting what they want by worship of the devatas. That's one category. Those that have the interest of getting what they want through fruitive activity, passion. They worship humans, and others worship ghosts and spirits. Mode of ignorance. But they'll have faith in something because it's intrinsic to the soul. Worship. In Nectar Devotion we find worship is found in all categories of human society, even in Aborigine society, where they worship something in nature. They worship a tree, or they worship a waterfalls, or they worship the sunset, or they worship something, because that tendency is there. In the purified, this is the way to understand it. In the purified state, this is what the purified state is. So what happens when you're not in the purified state? It's going to be in something other, filtered through and distorted by the modes of nature. But propensity will still be there. So those that have some intelligence, enough to take shelter of the Vedas, but not enough intelligence to recognize the limits of their intelligence, which then says, I need guidance in understanding this. Those that have limited intelligence, then they worship other ways, which has been identified. So it's not that Shukadeva Goswami is advocating that Maharaj Parikshit, at the time of death, goes to worship various demigods to have long life or good sex life or power or fame or good health or something. He's not advocating that. He's advocating Nikshaya Sodayaha, the highest benediction that life can offer. I'm going to take a little detour for a moment. Hope you don't mind. And I want to just express some appreciation of the poetry of the Bhagavatam. I guess it's just one of those things that I like. The poetry of the Bhagavatam. By that, there's many ways to appreciate. But one of the components of the beauty and symmetry and the poetry of the Bhagavatam is certain phrases. That when those phrases are repeated like a refrain, just like the Hare Krishna mantra, it's the same series of words. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. There's not a lot of variation. It's the same mantra. The Bhagavatam has the same message as the Hare Krishna mantra, but there is variation, but there's also refrains. And with those refrains, there's packed up message. So when you hear the refrain, especially when you become a relisher of the Bhagavatam and you've entered, as far as Krishna permits, deeply into the message of the Bhagavatam, just hearing those phrases, it brings immense meaning, just filling your consciousness. Like you've heard Prabhupada's lectures, and from time to time he'll just mention a phrase. It's just like a piece of a verse, a sloka. But within that phrase is packed up so much meaning, and sometimes Prabhupada expands the meaning, sometimes he really gets into expanding the meaning, but sometimes he just says the phrase. Within the phrase, there's so much meaning. And the Acharya unpacks the meaning, then packs it back up again, just in the phrase. It's like a sutra. So the Bhagavatam has such composition, where there are certain phrases. I mentioned one of them a couple of verses ago. It's from the second chapter. Yeah. Tasmat sarvatmana rajan hari sarvatra hari sarvatra sarvada shrotavya kirtitavyascha smartavyo bhagavan rinam. So that shrotavya kirtitavyascha smartavyo appears about 6 places in the Bhagavatam, in very important places. It appears at the beginning of this canto, it appears here in this verse, it appears in the second canto, it appears in the 12th canto, where there, a summary message. What is it that one should hear about? Because the Vedic process of knowledge is about hearing. It's derived by the process of hearing. And Shrotavya kirtitavyascha. Chanting follows hearing. Giving the message of Krishna consciousness to others follows hearing it, assimilating it, vibrating it. Because it's such a powerful, wonderful message, you want to naturally share it with others, and it enhances your own realization of that message. Okay, so that combination of sound vibrations has a packed up message. Here in this verse, there's a similar sets of phrases. Etavan. Here it's Etavan Eva Yajatam. So yaja means worship. So the attention right in the first line goes to worship. But there's several other phrases, Etavan Eva Loke Smin. So just indulge me for a little bit. I'm going to take you on a little tour of a few of the, about 12 or 13 verses that begin in the same way. Etavan Eva Lokesmin, Iha Nikshreya Sodayaha. One of them comes in Lord Kapila's instructions to Devahuti in devotional service. And note, this is the subject of devotional service. Devotional service, change in heart. Not just information, change in heart. So, Lord Kapila is also instructing Devahuti about devotional service. It's in Satya Yuga, but it's the same principle. So she's asked, my dear son, when you go away, I won't have any shelter because Kardama Muni, he's already gone away. You're my only shelter while you're here. You please instruct me and what principles I should live my life by? Same type of question as Maharaj Parikshit. He explains the process of devotional service, and then in a summary verse, he says the same thing that Shukadeva Goswami is saying here. etavan eva lokesmin punksam nikshreyasodayaha. Almost the same, Sanskrit. Nikshreyasodayaha. Ultimate benefit. Tivrena bhakti yogena. Hey, we just heard that yesterday. Tivrena bhakti yogena. There's the phrase again. The poetry of the Bhagavatam. Tivra bhakti. Mano mayarpitam stiram. Mano mayi. Fixed in the mind, fixed in me. Arpitam means fixed. Stiram, steadily fixed. How to get the mind steadily fixed in Krishna. All those of you that chant japa and find that your mind wanders when you're chanting japa. You don't need a show of hands. Everyone's hand will go up. How to get to that stage? One of these how-to questions people ask. How to get to the stage where your mind doesn't wander, Maharaj? Read Srimad Bhagavatam and be receptive to the message. Tivrena bhakti yogena maya mano mayarpitam manaha. So he's explained to Devahuti. This is the method. Pungsang nikshreya sodaya. Those that want the nikshreya sodaya, shreyasa, nikshreyasa, udayaha. They want the ultimate benefit, the supreme benediction in their life. I'm ready. Please let me have it. Here it is. Tivrena bhakti yogena. Those whose minds are fixed on the Lord engage in intensive practice of devotional service. If you want intensive practice in devotional service, can you allow your mind to wander? And how to get the mind to not wander? Intensive devotional service where there's some desire, just as we've been discussing with Dhruva Maharaj, the desire to achieve his shelter, or in our case, to revive our loving relationship with Krishna. Not because we want a kingdom, but because we want that relationship. We want, in George Harrison's words, we want to love and be loved. Everyone wants those things. There is not an exception in the world. Everyone wants to be loved. And everyone wants to love. And everyone's proposing their loving propensities somewhere else and feeling frustrated. And blaming the something else and becoming, disturbed. Because of our resistance to repose that loving relationship upon the actual object that will satisfy us. The supreme cause of all causes. Just go there. Stop resisting. And there are persons who will assist. Take their assistance. Another place is in the 6th canto. You're still indulging me in my appreciating the poetry of the Bhagavatam, where Shukadeva Goswami again is explaining to Maharaj Parikshit about how to prevent one from having to experience the hellish planets that are described in the 5th canto. The method that he mentions, don't be surprised, is devotional service. But the most important emphasis in this section is the chanting of the holy name. Etavan eva lokesmin pungsam dharma para smritaha bhakti yogena bhagavati tan nama grahanadibihi. The alliteration even is nice. Tan nama, the chanting of the holy names of the Lord. Devotional service, beginning with the chanting of the holy name of the Lord. So that's the 9 processes, but Shravanam, Kirtanam,
Hare Krishna. We pause the lecture here. Any comment from the devotees? Yes, Shravar Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, very nice lecture. And that sentence I like the most, that the basic nature is everyone wants to be loved and love in return. And that is, it makes sense when we try to achieve that relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Because only then it's permanent, otherwise it doesn't, it leads to frustration only. So that I like very much. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Well said, Mataji. Very nice. Solution, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dhanvatana. I like that point. Like devotional service means it's not like just taking the information, gathering the information and all. It's like change in the heart. So this point I like very much, Prabhu.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. Chinnakeshwar Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Prabhu, I like one point here. When one takes the stance of the representative of Krishna, then the curtain of Yogamaya is drawn back. But when one refuses to take the stance of representative of Krishna, the curtain is drawn closed. One cannot see. So that point I like very much, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu. Even how this the free will is there with the individual soul is such a very clear manner Maharaj has explained. Thank you for sharing, Prabhuji. Yugal Kishore Prabhu, we have unmuted.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. uh, Maharaj love, appreciation, uh, and his mood is always upbeat when he's actually talking about Srimad Bhagavatam. When he was in Bhakti Center some years ago, he said that he loves Bhagavatam. And in middle of the discussion, he said that if you don't mind, I will take the detour. And he started glorifying Srimad Bhagavatam. His love when it comes to Srimad Bhagavatam, Maharaj loves that. And one of the once I think he was asked, what is the mystery of your dedication or service? Of course, love for Srila Prabhupada. And the another thing is his love for Srimad Bhagavatam. And Bhagavatam is such a jewel that, and the pure devotee is actually relishing that. And just by hearing that, seeing that, we get so much motivation, inspiration to go deep in this Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the essence of Galita Phalam. Nigama Kalpatarum Galitam Phalam Pibata Bhagavatam Rasama Alaya. And Srila Prabhupada writes in that shloka, that purport, that this Bhagavatam can be relished by everybody, those who are very elevated, like Maharaj, and those who are even the neophyte like us. Both personalities can actually relish this Srimad Bhagavatam. So, Maharaj showing by his own example, and he gets so excited, and seeing that feels so nice. Lovingly, joyfully, he explains Srimad Bhagavatam. Thank you for Hare Krishna.
Just like Maharaj relishes Srimad Bhagavatam, go deep into it. Devotees like you relishes how Maharaj relishes. Thank you, Prabhu. It was so sweet of you. Any other devotee?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Tanvat
Like
Pranam. Mm, how Maharaj explained that faith is intrinsic to soul. I mean, we can't stop having faith in one thing or other thing. It's similarly like we can't stop loving one thing or other thing. So it is so natural that even those who are saying that I don't believe in God, they are also saying that yes, they have that belief, they have that faith system that they don't believe. So we I think very first thing we have to accept in us is our own nature. What is our nature? If one thing is clear, that what is our nature is to serve, our nature is to have faith, to love something. If that nature itself is clear, that I am like this, then next what to do, how to do, or for whom to do can be little clearer. But then we don't even accept our own nature, that this is my basic nature. And if that is clear, then I think taking next step towards Krishna can be little easier than not accepting what is my own nature. That's what I was thinking, Prabhu. Hare
Very
Krishna.
good. Thank you for sharing. Anybody else? You can take the name of Lavanya Mataji or Ashok Prabhu. Yeah, from my side, I like that small point where Maharaj told that those who struggle in chanting and how to focus on while chanting, the Maharaj told Srimad Bhagavatam, just that message, just go deep into it. That's the remedy if the devotees who are struggling with focus while chanting. Anybody else? Yeah. Shamkunda Prabhu, anything from your side today?
Nothing much, Prabhu. I like all of you, what you said, even what Shweta Mataji said just now, that we have to accept our nature of where we have our faith in, and then see how it relates to spiritual tattva. Thank you. And your appreciation for Yogalakishore Prabhu's appreciation, for Maharaj's appreciation for the Bhagavatam. And one last thing that you just said, it was a revelation for me today that when Maharaj quoted that verse from another verse which has this Etavan word from Canto 3, chapter 25, text 44, that if one has to fix one's mind, it requires intensity. The Tivra, Maharaj, like I think the verse that came about is Tivrena Bhakti Yogena Manomai Arpitham Sthiram. One way to translate is with intense Bhakti Yoga, offer your mind unto me. But the other thing is, for the mind to go to Krishna, one has to have that intensity. And that was the point which Maharaj said, and that was a revelation for me. That's it. Thank you.
Hey, Krishna Prabhuji. So here one point, like this is always, everyone has this question, like how to how to means attain attachment to the chanting of the holy name. Then simply Maharaj answers, go to Bhagavatam, take shelter of the Bhagavatam. Then so that's how we understood that how he loves. Even he is asking us to read and accept that, so we can have a deep faith in the chanting also along with that. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you for sharing, Prabhu. Shamkund Prabhu, this Tivra Maharaj, that shloka there mentioned, so it means very intense bhakti. That's the meaning of Tivra Bhakti Yoga, or?
Yes, intense, yes, Prabhu. Correct.
Okay. Okay. Anybody else? Yeah, from anything? 7 now. We have a few more minutes. Yes, Madhi Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandapranam. Actually, what Maharaj said, when we are chanting the holy name, if we think of, mindfully chanting the holy name, what is the purpose of chanting? This is, we have to remember, we have to revive our relationship with loving relationship with Krishna. So if before chanting, if we can remember that sentence, our mindfulness will increase on the chanting. That is what I understood, Prabhu. Thank you.
So, means before chanting, if I just meditate on the purpose of chanting, then
Yes.
thank you, Prabhu. Thank you for sharing. Okay. Any last comment from someone? Harisham Prabhu, from your side, anything today?
Nothing, bro. Just like the appreciation of all the devotees. So, just happy to hear. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all the devotees. 7:01. We'll close the call today and we'll meet again tomorrow. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.